So the next thing that will help us to generate more racket head speed is the swing. Now if I have a very compact swing or no swing at all, during that contact point it's very hard for me to build up racket head speed because I'm basically starting from zero. So if I'm in this position here and my contact point is here, for me now to create racket head speed through this zone is very difficult. I can try, but it's very forced and it's very hard work, especially for the forearm, the elbow and the shoulder, and eventually I can end up getting injured by using that amount of stress on those joints. No swing, very hard to generate racket head speed. And then if we compare that to someone like Del Potro, who has a very big swing, he now has a lot of space to accelerate. He also has a lot of space to build up that momentum. So by having a big loop, you're creating that momentum all the way through the swing, especially if you don't have breaks along that chain. And now you're building that momentum and then you're putting it into the ball. So building momentum, putting it in the ball. And this is what we see with Del Potro or someone like Fernando Gonzalez, who has a massive swing as well. So if you have a bigger swing, yes, you can generate more power, but it's also harder to time. So it comes down to how big of a swing do you want to have in order for you to still be able to make contact out in front. Now if you have a massive loop, you might generate the power, but you'll struggle in dealing with those faster balls and you'll struggle in dealing with the timing. And if your swing is too small, you'll struggle to generate the power, but it'll be easy for you to time the ball and make contact out in front. So it's somewhere in between both. You don't want to have a massive loop unless your timing is perfect and you mainly play on clay, but you can use a circular loop on a smaller plane. Someone like Federer or Djokovic does this really well. So they're using a circular loop, especially Federer. He'll start off in that position, he's having a circle, he's dropping the racket, he's creating that momentum, and now he's allowing himself to actually accelerate the racket without having that stop and start. Now if you want more help with your forehand, we have a free forehand guide that you can download right away. I'll leave the link below this video. All you have to do is click on that link, that will take you to our website. You simply enter your email address and we'll send you that free guide right away. And the third way to generate more power on your forehand is to be relaxed and to be loose. Now a tight muscle won't fire as quickly as a relaxed muscle. So if I'm tense, if I'm really stiff on my swing, even if I coil and uncoil, even if I load and unload, if I'm tight during that swing, my muscles will be restricting that explosive power. So if I'm stiff, you'll see it's hard for me to swing at high speeds holding the grip tight and being tense with my muscles. So I'm going to tense up as much as I can here and see how fast I can swing that racket. So I can still produce some racket head speed, but it's very stiff, it's robotic, and it's something that I don't want to be doing under the pressure of a match, especially if I'm trying to do well in the tournament. The opposite of this is now being very loose, very relaxed. So using the muscles to generate the power instead of using that tightness. So I can be very loose here, but I can still generate massive racket head speed if I'm using that coil, uncoil, loading, unloading. So here, very loose, and I'm still creating that racket head speed. How do we stay loose when we're trying to generate power? The natural tendency is when we're trying to generate power, we start to tense up. Now if you've done martial arts before, you'll know that when you're doing a punch, at the beginning, when you're starting your training, most people start tensing up. So they're throwing a punch, but they're throwing it very stiff. And what happens is you can throw a few of those, but you'll get very tired, especially if you're doing sparring. You're going to get very tired very quickly. Now, the better you get, the more you work on that, and especially if you have good coaches around you, they're going to be telling you to stay relaxed and to exhale while you throw that punch. So eventually, instead of being stiff on that punch, you start throwing it much faster because you're relaxed. And that's exactly what you want to be doing when you're hitting a forehand, a backhand or a serve. You want to be generating the power, but in the most relaxed way. So it all starts by firstly exhaling. So if I hold my breath, what happens is my body becomes stiff, it becomes tight naturally because I'm holding my breath. So by holding the breath, it's hard to stay loose. So the opposite of that is now exhaling while I'm swinging forward. So I'm inhaling on the way back. So inhale, exhale. And that's a really good way for you to feel that relaxation on the forward phase of that swing. So a bad habit that many players will make when they want to hit the ball harder is they'll start to really grip the racket very tightly, especially the fingertips. So in order to eliminate this, in order to feel that complete opposite, the relaxation, here is a very simple drill. So you're going to grab your racket, and the first 2 shallow swings, you're going to grip the racket as tight as possible. Now I'm squeezing the racket as tight as I can, and I'm trying to swing relaxed. Very hard to do. Now I'm going to go on the opposite scale of that. So from extreme tightness to extreme looseness. And here, my fingertips, and actually a lot of the finger is coming off the grip. So I'm going to be holding the racket mainly with the palm of the hand and just the base index of the fingers. So the fingertips are off, I can wiggle my fingers here, and now there's no tension in the grip because it's impossible for me to hold that racket tight if the fingers are off. So fingers are off, and now I can feel very loose on that forward phase. Now you don't want to be hitting balls like this, but you can start the swing with your fingers off the grip, and then as you start the forward phase, that's when the fingers can grip the racket so you have that stability around the point of contact. So now how do we work on that exhale through the contact point and also that massive coil and uncoil? Here's a very simple drill for you. You're going to be doing shadow forehands, and the first step is now as I turn this body, so as I coil my upper body, I'm starting my inhale. So it's coil and inhale at the same time. So it's just from here now, as I start the forward swing, I start at exhale, and I also want my right shoulder to be coming under the chin when I finish that swing. So this means that I'm having a 180-degree turn during my swing. I'm going from left shoulder under my chin to right shoulder under my chin. So left shoulder, right shoulder. This will ensure that I'm having that full uncoil on the way forward. At the same time I'm working on that inhale, exhale. So let's have a look. So the coil, uncoil, inhale, exhale, loading, unloading, if you want to start to introduce that as well. So a quick recap. The power sources we have, the coil and uncoil. So coiling the upper body at the start of the swing, uncoiling during that forward phase. Loading and unloading with the legs. So whichever stance you're using, you're trying to sit down in a chair and then drive up into the ball. Then we have the length of the swing. So the bigger your swing, the more racket head speed you can produce, but that swing can be generated from that coil and uncoil, so you don't have to work too hard with your arm independently. Then we have that relaxation, so making sure you inhale and exhale, and making sure that you're not holding the racket too tight, so you relax with the fingers. Just tight enough that the racket doesn't move at the point of contact. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you click on that like button It helps us a lot, it helps the channel to grow, it helps more people see our videos, and we can reach more people and help those players as well. So thank you in advance for doing so. Also leave a comment down below. Are there any lessons you would like to see in the near future from us? Tell us in the comment section and we'll try to make the most popular suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell if you want our future lessons sent to you directly via YouTube. Signing off, Simon from TTT. All the best and see you soon, guys. Take care.